D&D has become one of my favorite hobbies. You can live through an adventure, fight monsters, and meet fantastic creatures. All you need is just a bit of imagination, a few dice, and you can have an amazing time with your friends right in your living room. My good friend Ozzy, the one who introduced me to the game, is our group's dungeon master, and I wanted to share his insights about the game.
Hi, my name is Ozzy. I've been playing D&D for 10 years. 10 years, yeah, 10 years. And I play both DM and player, depending on what I do. Yeah, I started playing because I was with a friend, and it was like, we were 16, and he said, hey, do you want to play D&D? And I was like, what's D&D? And he's like, imagine you're in Lord of the Rings, but you are the characters and doing all the things. I was like, that sounds awesome. And then I was like, yeah, I'll go do that.
Definitely. Okay, we ready? Let's go.
We're gonna die.
Yep.
Because I have magpie-like tendencies and I can't.
No.
I have to. I want to steal that stuff so bad.
No,
I'm in the temple.
okay.
I want it. Welcome to the infernal place.
As we left off.
It's very loud.
Yeah, I know, but it's because I needed to make everyone aware that we're starting the session.
Silence.
This is let's get into it.
It's not a fun adventure.
This is not fun. There's nothing fun about
I'm
this.
in danger.
I just think it's very unique is the thing. There is like a lot of tabletop RPGs, which is what D&D is, which is this role-playing game. And like I said, like it's unique. It's a different thing than most other hobbies. You get to do it with friends, with like a very small group of friends that you play together, and you are pretending all together. You're pretending that you're in this adventure, it's like in this huge world. One of you, which for example, if I'm the DM, I get to create this huge world, and then that you, like as my players, be the actors in this, in like a huge fantasy world. And personally, like I've always loved fantasy my entire life. I think fantasy has always been like really important to me, and the idea of being able to put yourself outside of the real world and of the constraints that you do in the real world, and like be able to play around with magic, and like it's the coolest thing ever. It's exactly what like I feel like everyone kind of likes fantasy. If they give it a shot, then they're like, oh wait, I get to like shoot fire out of my hands. That's like so cool. And so D&D just allows you to take that, and instead of just watching it or reading it like a book, you get to make that story your own. And it's very like power of friendship as well. I would say like D&D is one of those things where, because you're sitting with these 4 people, or 5 people, you're sitting with this group, and we just feel like you've experienced so much. Like you've sat in the same room, like you've sat in one room and just talked to each other, but in your head, and like the memories you come out with is the idea that you've been fighting dragons and you've been defeating these ancient evils and you've been doing all these crazy things. I just think that's the thing that D&D is so special with. Like you get to create that, and you really don't get that through any other media, as far as I've found at least.
Last time we left off, Sasha had gone to a temple on
I make it sound like a fun pilgrimage.
temple, and the rest of you were
Church.
left behind. Or the rest of you stood behind, and then before that, you were attacked by a giant fucking monster, giant centipede monster that you polymorphed for an hour. Perfect! What a perfect timing.
Just as
Someone want to open the door?
I think it's generally like so different being the DM and being the player. It's like so different roles. I can't put it up because the times I get to be a player again, I'm like, I miss this so much, because it's, first of all, a little easier. You don't have to prepare as much. Again, I don't always prepare that much either way, but you get to sit down and just like take in the environment and just be like, this doesn't hinge on whether or not I do a good job. And a little bit of being a DM, or actually a big part of it, is that, at least for me, I feel like, you know, if we're having a good time around the table, hinges a lot on if I do a good job in what I'm doing. And like, you feel like this pressure to be a DM a little bit. Being a player is like more fun in the way that you don't have as much expectations, I think, as to how things can go, and you have less responsibility on how things can go, right? So it's more relaxed in that way. But then when you are the DM, it's just really, really satisfying when you have planned and you have these ideas, and especially like the few times you get to really get these epic moments, and like the absolute best feeling of a DM is you say something, maybe something you've written or just something you came up with, like some line, and all your players go like, like that gasp, which I've got that for you a couple of times where like I've just introduced this like evil character and you guys have been like, what? No! Like that when you're sitting there like, no, like that's, oh, that feels so good. Or yes, it could be yes as well. It doesn't need to be no, but like the idea that like you are so invested that it means so much to you and you can just see in your faces that you're like, like I'm so there. That feeling is amazing. So and that you don't get as a player in the same way, I think. So like, yeah, feeling like you really built something, that's the really fun part of being the DM. It's originally called a pen and paper game because you used pen and paper. So you, if you want to be old school about it and cool, you can use this. It's like a character sheet, and it looks quite daunting, I think. Like that's one of the problems with D&D is that once you try to get people to like play it for the first time, and you just show up with this sheet, and there's so many things to fill in. All these things are like, oh, armor class, initiative, medicine, intelligence. You're like, and you get like so overwhelmed at the beginning. But that's just kind of getting used to, I think. And then like you fill these in, and then you use this one combined with the dice. And this is the one that tells you how much plus and extra. Like basically, what is your character? What are they good at? Are they a Frodo from Lord of the Rings? Are they like a little tiny halfling that runs around but is good at stabbing people with knives? Or are you a huge giant that is really good at talking, that is really good at smooth talking people and like getting exactly what you want by just talking in a nice way? We have many dice. This is like the D&D players' crack is dice. People buy so many dice. I have some friends who play D&D, played it for around the same time that I have, and they have so many dice. They have like jars that are about this big of just full of different dice sets. But like you don't need it. The thing about D&D is you need how many dice is it? Like 7 or something like that. You need 7 dice, 1 dice set. If you have that, you're good. That's all you need. So you have like the classic dice, like this one, a D6 as it's called in the cool lingo. And then there's like just other sided dice. You have this one, which is a D12, so it has 12 sides. And then this one has 8 sides. They look pretty cool. And then you have the most important one, it's the D20. It's the 20-sided dice, which is, because it's basically used for everything, it's the most useful dice in the game. Oh, what is my favorite? I don't know. We have this one. I like this one. The tiny little demon. Yeah, it's just cool. I just feel it's fast. It's like, cha-cha-cha. So with these minis that I use, these minis that we use, is like, they've been everything because I can only afford so many minis. And so you can just use them to represent other things. And so you can literally use anything you want. Like these minis, again, aren't important. They're just meant to represent. It makes it easier to visualize. I know some D&D players or like DMs use candy. So like when you kill the monster, you get to eat the candy as like an incentive to kill the monsters.
This is great.
He's like, let's go.
I gotta like the
So you guys are from... Whoa! He's like,
Harold.
Let's go.
Big feet, big steps. Let's go. We're in mountain.
Rescue your hoe.
You're in mountains, yeah.
No.
It's good.
Yeah.
That is great. Lovely.
We like that.
Okay, quick.
Takes up the sword again.
Oh, multi-attack!
Oh, we're gonna.
Bye,
And
everyone!
swings down at you.
Goodbye.
That's a lot of names.
Well, I'm dead.
So some people like they plan out before every session, and maybe they plan like many sessions, and so they have this huge idea of what's going on. But for all the the DMs that I've ever talked to, that's usually not what happens. So usually what happens is that you have some plan. You're like, okay, they're going to go kill this dragon. And then and you're like, oh, maybe they'll do this on the way. But one thing you can be 100% sure of as a DM is that your players are never, ever going to do what you think they're going to do. So they're going to be like, why do we have to kill the dragon? You're like, well, it's terrorizing the city. And they're like, yeah, but I want to befriend the dragon. And you're like, oh, that does actually solve the problem. Oh, no. And so now you have to deal with the fact that they're going to befriend the dragon. So to me, I don't put up like ideas of what you guys are going to do. I don't put like huge ideas of this is what's going to happen in the future, because 5 sessions down, like you're in another country than what I expected it to be. So I'm like, okay, here we are, you know? So it's very much on the fly. It's like things you just come up with there and then. So I would say like the most, with our group, it's just the fact that everyone has such different things they want to do, but somehow y'all manage to make it work together and you like become a coherent unit as a group. And I think we have a lot of fun. I think maybe what makes our group more like special than the other groups I've been to is that we do a lot of role play as well. And we really go from mostly it's silly, mostly it's stupid and funny, but then sometimes we'll get into like very, very genuinely heartfelt moments. And that's something I haven't had any of the other games I've ever played, where like things have been, there's generally been times where I've teared up during our games because I'm like, that was like cinematically so sweet, like that, or like that moment was just so real and so nice. Like after the death of some characters and stuff, and those moments, like we have as much as we have the silly moments, we also have the really, really serious and heartfelt moments, and I'm like, that's what makes us special. Like I said, you really don't need anything, like especially now in the digital world, you can do everything online. You can do everything on like so if you have a phone, that's it. That's all you need. If someone invites you to it, just go for it. Like worst case, it's 3 hours of this was awkward, but most likely it's 3 hours of this was pretty fun, and maybe it's 3 hours of I'm gonna start doing this. This is really fun. I really enjoy this. It's completely up to you how you do it, and no, just try it. Like genuinely, if you get the chance, because sometimes you just are lucky and get the chance. Some people want to and don't get the chance. So if you get the chance, try it out. It's probably going to be really fun.